as a man, if I hear I can't do something, I'm more likely to do it.
Yeah, see if that's really true.
Yeah. And so for me, it's no, I'm going to, stay emotionally connected to my wife instead of it being, hey, don't get emotionally connected to other women.
What would you say to these couples that would say to you, okay, I've been married 25 years, my kids are out of the house, I'm with my wife all the time, we don't need to have a date night?
It's not necessarily about the time or the activity. It's about
Oh, that's powerful. Men in the Arena Army, we salute you. Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Men in the Arena podcast. I'm Jim Ramos, your host and guide, leading you through the stress bubble of life and beyond. Welcome to today's Average Joe podcast. But again, the caveat is these are Average Joe podcast episodes, but these are not average guys. These are guys that are in the stress bubble or have made it through the stress bubble and they are killing it or have killed it. And we want to talk to them about certain topics. For the next several weeks, we are actually diving into my book, Guardrails, 10 Boundaries for an Unbreakable Marriage, that will be released April 7th, 2026. And so really, really excited about that. Today, I'm going to introduce you my friend Chris Clay. So Chris is an employee development director at a federal prison, which is why he's dressed the way he's dressed. He came right from work. He's been married to his beautiful bride, Lacey, for 24 years. They have adult children, and he's one of my guys on the barbecue team. We have a little barbecue ministry that we have within our area here. We go and barbecue as a ministry. He's one of my guys. He has a better set of knives than me, so I will say that. I will confess that. They're newer and they match and they're pretty, and he's got a real pretty leather case for them and all that good stuff. But anyway, the thing about Chris I appreciate is he shows up to bring the best version of himself. He brings his full weight to the table and serving and giving. I really do appreciate all that you bring, Chris, as a servant and a friend. And so welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
So I gave you a chapter of the book. This is Guardrail number 3, which is staying emotionally connected. For several versions of edits, it was called Stay Emotionally Disconnected. But to me, people don't want to read a book that's negative. So it's Stay Emotionally Connected to Your Bride. And then the subtitle, all the subtitles are negative, which is Never Develop an Emotional Connection with a Woman Who's Not Your Wife. So any thoughts on that or the chapter? Any questions? I noticed you have a lot of red ink on your paper here.
I did take some notes, and I agree with you. The world has what we call negativity bias, and we focus on the negative, and we always focus on the negative and the I can'ts. So I really appreciate that you did change the title of the chapter.
Yeah.
Because as a man, if I hear I can't do something, I'm more likely to do it.
Yeah, see if that's really true.
Yeah. And so for me, it's no, I'm going to, stay emotionally connected to my wife instead of it being, hey, don't get emotionally connected to other women. It's no, focus on my bride.
Yeah. So what stood out initially in this chapter as you read it?
There were a couple of different things, but one of them for me was that me and my wife had already done some of what you have talked about in this book, and we went through a really rough time back in 2008, where our marriage was falling apart, and we kind of were having some issues. And one of the things that we did was we focused on making sure that we had a date night. And it's amazing how much focusing on each other for one day a week. And at that time we had young kids, not adult children, but kids take up a lot of time, a lot of energy. And so we were like, no, we need to focus on us at least at some point. I just remember we used to go to Olive Garden all the time. Olive Garden was our hot spot. And we get the soup, salad, and breadsticks with tip and everything for $20.
I was going to say, that's a cheap meal.
It was a very cheap meal, and we didn't have any money back then.
Yep.
But it gave us the opportunity to just get away, and we would just sit at the table. And me and the wife had a conversation about a year ago how I really wanted to go to Olive Garden, and she just was like, no, I don't want to go. And she was missing the point of what the memory that it was bringing back for me, because we've done lots of dates now.
Yeah.
We do lots of dates that cost more money. We're in a better position now. But for me, that memory, when we were going through all those struggles of just sitting there, just me and her at Olive Garden, eating good food that was really cheap, I think we have to refocus ourselves on the positives. And we always spend so much energy on the negatives in life that I really try to live my life as, okay, I'm hunting the good stuff.
Yep.
I'm looking for what good there is in my life, not what bad there is.
You know, it's interesting. So my wife and I had a date night for years. Like our stress bubble time was date night. Every Thursday night we'd have a date night, and it's really funny. The gal that babysat for our date nights is now on staff at the very church where this studio is, and she's like our son's sister, my boy's sister, and it's really interesting. We had no money, like you. We may or may not have done a lot of Mexican food nights when it just involved Diet Coke and chips.
Yep, been there, done
and
that.
Salsa.
Yep.
And then when we were married in the mid '90s, Burger King, which is the standard of every fast food hamburger, I just like to joke about that. My kids go crazy because they hate it. But we would go to Burger King and they had a deal going where it's buy a Whopper for 99 cents. Yep. So we could go into Burger King and get fountain water, free water, and get a burger. And for $2, we could have a date night. Well, $3, I usually ate 2. But you know what I'm saying? But we realize is that taking that time, people say, well, I'm too busy in the stress bubble to have a date night. And I would argue, bro, you're too busy to not have a date night.
You have to have it.
And so we did in 2010. We had a rough patch. It was basically because we were both doing so much. There was no infidelity, no weird stuff. But we were like, our marriage is at a low, and we went into marriage counseling with a pastor friend of ours, and we decided, hey, every 10 years we're going to do marriage counseling, just because. And then we had a date last night, and we spent a lot more money than those old days at Burger King and Mexican food. But but our kids are out of the house. We're out of the stress bubble. Yep. What would you say to these couples that would say to you, okay, I've been married 25 years. My kids are out of the house. I'm with my wife all the time. We don't need to have a date night.
I would say you're a fool, because it's not necessarily about the time or the activity. It's about the intention.
Oh, that's powerful.
It's about that. I'm not saying, me and my wife, we play games together at night all the time. We watch shows together all the time. We hang out all the time. But there takes no intention to do that. There takes no effort to do that. That's what we do. Date night takes effort. It takes intention. It takes saying, you know what? I'm going to push all this other stuff aside. I'm going to put my screen down. I'm going to put my cell phone down. I'm not going to pay attention. I know, God forbid. But I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to say, this time is about us.
So I had no idea you were going to go there. That is so good. That's a God thing, because I like to share the journey. And this next book I'm going to write, I want to do a documentary on it, because people think writing a book is so hard and this big mystical thing. It really isn't that big of a deal, but there's certain steps that you have to take. But here's the key thing is that, whenever I preach on a Wednesday night, and you're there every Wednesday night, God preaches to the preacher before the preacher preaches the people. And if God doesn't preach the preacher before the preacher preaches the people, then the preacher's not going to last long with the people. Same thing with a book. When I write a book, I don't know how else to word this. When I write a book, God always gives back to me from the book. And so this Guardrail 3, stay emotionally connected, is when God gave back to me. And I'm like, dude, this is the coolest thing. And so in this chapter, did I talk about Genesis 2:18-20 and Ezer Kenegdo? Do you remember that? Yep. This isn't a pop quiz, because it's a kind of a weird word. So in Genesis 2:18 and 2:20, God says he was looking for a helper suitable. Yeah. King James Version says a helpmeet. Yep. I always thought it was a helpmate. It's a helpmeet. Anyway, which makes more sense. He needs somebody to help meet his needs. It's really a cool word. It literally means, in fact, my wife and I are going to do a marriage conference in 2 weeks together, or a week, and we're going to stand back to back. I'm thinking of Charlie's Angels. You know that scene where they all do that whole thing? So my wife and I are going to stand back to back. Ezer Kenegdo means one who stands opposite of me. Yeah. So she doesn't oppose me. she stands like this facing the other direction. It can also mean stand side by side of me. So either way, right? Either she's locking arms with me or she's standing and she has my back, which is a beautiful picture. But it's interesting. The night before I wrote this chapter, I went to bed and I was stressed out. I'm like, I don't know what to, I was like praying. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, this sounds embarrassing for an author to say. I did know what I was going to write, but I didn't. I had created an outline. I'd sold the outline. David C. Cook had bought the outline, and I'm in bed going, I don't like the outline for tomorrow. God, I need your help. And I'm laying in bed, and God says this to me: a father or a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. That's Genesis 2:24, just a couple verses after Genesis 2:18-20. So I'm like, I know what one flesh means, and I know what leave my parents means, but I don't know what cleave means. And in my 35 years of ministry, I'd never heard the word ever mentioned. Do you happen to remember what that word was? Okay, this will help you remember. It's the Hebrew word dabak. So in the book, I challenge guys to stop having date nights, call them debauch nights. And here's what's so cool about what you said about intention. So debauch has 4 meanings. 4. And I am 7. 4 meanings, man. Wow, I don't know what happened there. 4 meanings. Public school education. Anyway, just kidding. Okay, if you can't offend somebody, if you can't make fun of yourself, make fun of somebody else. So my dad was a public school teacher for 40 years. I love the public school, but anyway, make fun of whatever. So 4 meanings, and the 4th meaning talks about intention. So the first meaning is to impinge or to infringe. You know, as you know, I'm having a hip replacement surgery in about a week and a half because I've got a worn down joint and there's an impingement in there. I can feel it every time I move my hip popping, and it's limited me. And so from a negative standpoint in a marriage, our wives limit us and we limit our wives. We say to our wives, you are no longer allowed to date other men, have sex with other men, engage in emotional connection with other men, and I am no longer allowed to do that to you. I am yours, you are mine. You are not my partner, you're my person. And so there's an impingement there. It also means to adhere to, like glue. It also means to be joined to, right? But the last part is the part I just love it. And the women, you women who are secretly listening to this podcast, you are going to love this. It means to overtake, pursue, and chase after. How would you take that 4th? And the women are going, yeah. Why is that 4th definition, to overtake, pursue, and chase after, so important in creating intention?
Because it shows desire. It shows where your heart is. It shows that you want them. Instead of it being
not you need them.
Not I need them. Not we're just hanging out together. Not we're roommates. But I want you. I am chasing after you. I am showing effort. It's not always about winning the race. It's about showing them that you're there to be with them, to fight the fight with them, to go through it with them, and that you're going to be there, period.
So what's the okay, but there's a flaw in that thinking, and the flaw is men are involved.
Yeah. Yes.
So
we're failures.
So let's talk about this. Okay, so you said it's not about winning the race. So winning the race means the race is over.
Exactly.
So what's the default with a man once he gets the ring on the finger and he's won the race? Got the girl, won the race. Yep. What's the problem with a man who's won the race and now he comes across debauch and it tells him, oh bro, you didn't win the race. You just started the race. Talk to me.
Again, life is a continual learning experience. And if you are not growing with your partner, then one of you is being left behind. Mm-hmm. And if you are not running together, then one of you is being left behind. Mm-hmm. And if you are not there for her and being her emotional support and whatnot, as you said in the book, with her being the thermometer and you being the thermostat.
Yes, sir.
You get to a point where she's going to be like, who are you? Or you're going to get to the point where she's left you behind and you're like, who are you? Because you have showed no intention. You've showed no pursuit. You showed no passion. And men are notorious for that. We are task oriented. I want to get the task done. I want to get to the finish line. I want to win the race. I want to get this job done. I want to get to the next thing. Marriage cannot be the next thing. It can never be the next thing. It has to be a continual thing. And the only way that men can do it, because we are failures, we are dogs, you and I have had conversations about this. We know
I know
what
what
we
you're
can
capable
do.
of.
Yeah, I know what you're capable of.
It's not pretty.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't. So we have to entwine ourselves with Jesus in our marriage, which is what allows us to have that passion. It's what allows us to have that desire for her, regardless of what else is going on in the world. It allows us to put our focus on her instead of the 20-something that walks by at the gym or the advertisements. I mean, the world, as we go through anything in a day, the amount of sexualized material that is in front of us, it's constant.
Yep.
So if you are focusing on the things that you can't do, which is all that, it's going to be right there in your face.
Oh, that's really good.
If you're focused on the one thing that is your responsibility, that is your choice, that you keep choosing, then you can ignore those things. But if your whole goal is, I'm going to just try to not do that, I'm telling you right now, you're going to do it.
Well, yeah, we're going to go where our focus is, right? I mean,
Exactly.
I remember mountain biking years ago, and there's one trail I loved, and there was this rock that was embedded into the trail, and it was big enough to be a problem. And I noticed, I remember one time I focused on that rock, trying to avoid it. I hit that damn thing, instead of just focusing on the trail ahead. And so let's talk about this intention, this chasing after, overtaking your bride. So how does intention and choosing her daily, how do those manifest themselves?
It's a struggle. Like it's a struggle. You have to wake up every morning and say, you know what? She has bad breath this morning. I still love her.
Mm-hmm.
She's grumpy this morning. I still love her. I have to make that choice, not based on a feeling or an emotion. I have to make that choice based on biblical standing and based on the fact that Jesus loves me no matter what. So regardless of what she's done, if I have Jesus entwined with me and in my marriage, then I can share the love of Christ because he shared it with me. And so if I keep that focus of, no, I choose her, because one of the things that men don't like is when we don't feel like we have a choice.
Yeah.
So you have to remind yourself that you are choosing her. I'm not stuck with her. I'm not stuck with her because I put this ring on.
Correct.
I choose to put this ring on. I choose to wear this ring. It's not that I'm stuck with it, because as a man, you do have the choice.
Yep.
And so if I remind myself that I am making that choice day after day, it becomes easier.
You know, I tell my wife all the time. I tell her I love her virtually every day of the week. Like, innumerable times I tell her I love her.
Yep.
But what I've been telling her lately is, you're mine. And she goes, what do you mean I'm yours? I'm not your possession. I go, you're mine. You're the one I chose. And then I'll say, and I'm yours. Like, I chose you. You're mine. You're my person. I don't like the word partner. You're my person. You're my Ezer Kenegdo. You're the one who's, and here's the other thing. You said this earlier. The book cover is really cool. It's like an onyx view of a forest with lime green highlighted guardrails running through the forest. And it really is also an illustration of marriage. We run together. And the moment I don't run together, but here's how we run. I'm facing that way, she's facing that way, we're moving together, and we're watching out for each other. And the moment I surpass her or she surpasses me, we've got a problem. This hip thing with me, for example, has been she had shoulder surgery a year and a half ago. So I had to slow down my pace to come alongside her. With this, it's been hard for her. She hasn't had her walking buddy and her workout buddy for 8 months. So she's like, I want that guy back, but she's had to slow her pace down. So we've got to be really careful to run that pace together, and we as men have to be really careful to pursue her and to make sure that we're a little bit ahead of her, but pursuing her. I don't know how you pursue something if you're ahead of it,
It's
but we
tough,
need
yeah.
to lead her while still being side by side of her.
Yeah.
Because without my wife, dude, like
I'm
she
lost.
has my back.
Yeah.
And you talk about, I was laughing, you talk about the bad breath in the morning. You know, our wives married men with full heads of hair.
Yeah.
How would you feel waking up and your wife's totally, like, lost her hair? I mean, not cancer, I'm talking just naturally lost her hair. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, our wives are saints. They stayed
Yeah.
married to bald guys.
Yeah. I used to have hair.
I mean,
That's hard to
full head of
believe.
hair and a rockin' mustache. Like, you can't believe I had a mustache that made Tom Selleck cry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
So this is really good. So intention and pursuit. What would you say to a guy who says, you know, man, I mean, I love my wife. I'm just so busy with life and I'm so locked into my career. I feel like there's no time for us to spend 1 hour a week together. There's no time we just can't seem time to get the babysitters here. We're really struggling here. Man, I don't know if I can pull it off.
My opinion is you can't afford not to, because if you do not prioritize your marriage, and I talk to guys about this in our retirement classes, our new staff, talk to them about it all the time. You can come to work every day. You can make friends here. You can work really hard. You can make a great living, a retirement, everything. But if you ignore your family, then when you get to retirement, you're going to be doing it alone.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with having a career. There's nothing wrong with putting effort into your career. But if you don't put an equal level of effort into your marriage, then you're going to end up with a career and no wife. And you're going to end up with kids who don't want anything to do with you. You're going to end up with a family that moves on without you. And you're going to find somebody else who maybe they didn't prioritize their career as much. They didn't have as much money. Your wife does not care about your money. She cares about you.
Yep.
She cares about you being there. And so that's not to say that you don't need to have a career and you don't have to provide for them financially, but you have to have balance. It's not about one or the other. It's about balance. And if you don't have balance, you're going to lose your family. And most men don't want to lose their family, but they lose sight because they are driven. And again, there's nothing wrong with being driven, but you need to be driven in the most important things in your life, which is serving Jesus and serving your family.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You talked about balance. And I think I'm envisioning that windy road on our book cover. You know, the balance, you'd almost say priority. Like, I just had a situation this week where a man chose his kids, blended family, multiple marriages, over his wife. That is not balance. The problem with divorce and remarriage, it creates a disbalance, an out of balance relationship, a disharmony, and a man really has to fight hard to make his wife the most important. I had another situation where I had a guy call me whispering that he was alone with his wife and she was in another room, and he called me, didn't know what to do, because for the first time in their marriage, their kids were out of the house, but they'd put the kids in front of the marriage. They'd made the kids the center of the relationship. And this is not debauch. This is a debacle.
Yes.
This is not pursuit.
Yeah.
This is not overtaking. This is not intentional. And I think if we aren't intentional about pursuing our brides, we're going to have a lot of makeup to do. You know what's really funny? I don't know if you noticed this. You've been married 24 years. I've been married 33 years. I have seen more of my peers divorce in that window than in our first 10 years. It's weird. And what's happened is they realize when the kids leave that they made the marriage about the kids and not the marriage, and they don't want to be together anymore.
Yeah.
And this is a big problem. This is why it's so important to stay emotionally connected. Okay, you mentioned this earlier. I'm going to let you explain it. One of the ways I do this in my relationship, and I do this regularly, is I've acknowledged that my wife is my thermometer and I am the thermostat. Can you walk with these guys about this wonderful superpower that each of us brings to the marriage?
So it's a struggle because your wife is the one who knows where the relationship is. As a man, we're usually oblivious. we're
So
morons.
clueless.
We're morons.
I don't know why it is, but it's 100% true.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, my wife will throw something, or she will, lash out in some way. She will say something. And I don't blame her for this. A lot of men get angry and respond to their wife in kind because they are like, oh, you're mad. Now I'm going to be mad. Okay. But the reality is she is the thermometer. She's like, hey, things aren't great right now. If your wife does not want to be intimate with you, there's a problem.
She's telling you the temperature in this room is a little cold, buddy.
Yeah, it's a little chilly outside.
Yep.
And so what is your job as a man? It is not to fix it, because that's what we want to do as men.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're very goal oriented. Get me to the finish line. No, I got to fix her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want you to fix her.
Yeah. The it that needs to be fixed is not her.
It's not her. Okay. And it may not be you either. It can be a cumulative thing. Sometimes it's the kids. Sometimes it's the bills. Sometimes it's the job. What she needs from you is for you to be emotionally available. She needs for you to be willing to sit down with her, to spend time with her, not trying to touch her, not trying to get in her pants, but saying that you are here for her, not for what's in it for me.
So as a thermometer, how do I, when my wife comes to me, my wife doesn't do this. Let's say she throws a pan at me. Let's do a stereotypical situation. She doesn't do that, but let's say she did.
Mine neither.
So my wife throws a pan at me, and I'm like, oh, and she's like, I'm done, blah, 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 blah. And my wife doesn't do that, but let's say she did.
Yep.
Okay, so now she's told me this is the temperature of our relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm the thermostat. You just said don't fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think thermostats fix thermometers, but they do something. What do?
They either turn up the heat or they turn down the heat.
They regulate.
They regulate.
So now my role as a man is to go, okay, the temperature's been determined.
Yep.
Now, how do I regulate the pot-throwing angry bride?
I think the biggest thing is you use your ears. And I think oftentimes, like I said, as a man, we want to give them advice. We want to tell them what to do. We want to fix them.
Yeah.
And instead, what we need to do is shut our mouths. And that doesn't mean we don't talk, but it means we need to talk less, listen more, and try and understand where they're at and where they're coming from. Rather than tell them where they should be at or tell them how they should be, we should be asking them.
So, okay, this is different than I thought you would say, but this is actually really good. You kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So what you're saying is that my job is not to go fix something, but my job, what I'm regulating as the thermostat is her emotional bank, her emotional tank.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go, okay, here's where she is, and the way I bring her up to healthy, not her, the relationship. She's just the thermostat.
Yes.
Don't think of it as her. She's the thermostat. How do I raise the level of the relationship, the marriage? Yeah. I need to come in here and increase, right? Because I'm at a low. Yep. Increase her emotional tank. Yep. That
refill her battery
for whatever reason. The kids, the schedule, the work, the stress. We had an issue 10 years ago, or in 2010. It was just work stress.
Yeah.
It was, and so last night, I'll be very open with you guys. My wife and I had a date night last night, wonderful date night, but the first half hour was Shanna confronting me, and she's got to get aggressive because I'm a little bit thick-headed. Yeah. We have a book launch in April. I've got a hip surgery in late February, and April is brutal. April is a brutal travel month. I'm going to New Hampshire. Yeah. I'm doing our banquet here. I'm going to a big church deal, camp, and it's just all over the place, this book tour. And she's like, hey, man, you can't just take one day off. You're out of control right now. Yeah. And so she's saying, you are out of control right now. And I'm going, yes, ma'am. I mean, like, I know I am. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. But I'm like, I need to find a way to regulate April, so that we don't have a problem and we can keep our emotional tanks high. Yeah. right? But that's a personal story from my life. I'm going, okay, people go, oh, you're an author, you're a pastor, you got it figured out. No, I don't figure it out.
No.
I mean, I'm doing this thing like everybody else. And the thing I hate the most is when you get guys like me and everything's perfect. Dude, you're a lying sack of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So, I mean, this is a really good thing. I want to stay because she deserves that connection.
She does.
So would you say then that her thermostat, we use for thermostats, mercury, I don't know.
Yeah.
Her mercury is actually an emotional capacity?
Yeah. Emotional gauge.
Interesting.
I think it ties very much.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's a big part of it. And I think as men, frankly, most men are not comfortable with sharing their emotions.
No,
Most
we
men
just
are
had
not-
our last podcast with Paco.
Yeah.
He was saying the same thing. We are not good at our emotions.
No.
We tend to put them in,
Mm-hmm.
or we don't understand them ourselves to articulate them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when our wife is getting emotional, we tend to either retract and run away, or again, try to tell her how to fix herself. And neither one is going to help.
Well, I think when you try to fix her, what you're doing is you're diminishing her superpower to regulate or to not regulate, to determine the temperature of a relationship.
Yeah.
We have to be careful for that,
Yes.
right? And so
100%.
and we aren't good at accurate assessors of emotion anyway.
No, we're terrible at it.
And they're hyper accurate.
Yes.
And which it can come across as too much,
Mhm.
but we can't discount it. We have to really acknowledge that.
One of the things that we agreed on in our marriage is just that regardless if you're right or wrong, you're allowed to have your own emotions. So she can be mad at me. She can have that emotion. She's allowed to have that emotion. It may not be correct. She may not have it, in a place of fact, but that doesn't change the fact that she has that emotion. Yeah. I'm allowed to have the emotions that I have as well. And we are allowed to share it with each other. And when we share those emotions, whether we're right or wrong, our wives feel closer to us. Regardless, we could get mad at each other. But I guarantee at the end of it, me and my wife, we've had times where we get mad at each other. By the end of it, we're actually closer because we shared where we're at. We shared our emotion. We shared who we are rather than just bottling it up, running away, trying to do a quick fix, whatnot.
That's so interesting because my wife and I overshare our emotions. Like our default is overshare, like over emotional, heightened, escalated. And when we were early on in our marriage, we were all, you have this group of all these people get married together because we're all in the same age.
Yep.
So all these people are getting married together and we're looking at them going, man, we're the weakest couple here. Like these people never have problems. There's no fighting, there's no arguing, there's no bickering. And we look back now and they're almost all divorced. Mm-hmm. And we realized, and this is really important, we realized that they determined early on that they could not share emotion. Yeah. Now, you don't want to say, you're a jerk, I hate you, but you can say, hey, when you do that, it makes me feel enraged. So we are good at conquering, and we are good at seeing the end of things at the beginning. Yeah. So maybe what we could do is regulate her temperature by going, if I do this, what's she going to look like down here?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because when that 25-year mark comes along and she goes, I want a divorce, we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, you never listen to me ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the problem is that as men, we get too focused on what we can fix instead of just being present. And I think the number one thing,
emotionally present.
Yes, emotionally
present.
present.
You can sit on a couch with a beer, clicking the clicker.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, being there emotionally, having the conversations with them, being willing to be a part. That again, that does not negate. I'm not trying to say you can't ever watch a movie with your wife, but you have to prioritize that there is some time throughout the week that is intentional for that purpose.
Yeah, go to Olive Garden and get bread. So this breadstick deal, is that still a thing?
It is.
You can
It's
go
not as
get-
cheap
you can
anymore.
Go get soup. Yeah, I would nothing. Welcome to the world.
Yeah, it's not as cheap
And the
anymore.
Whoppers aren't the same either.
We used to
anymore.
get the.
You can still do Mexican food, chips, and a Coke.
Yeah.
And it's about the same as it was in the 90s. So
Now it's about $30. We've done it, and we
back
still
in the
do it sometimes.
1900s,
Yeah.
cheap in the 1900s. Well, it's really interesting. So I wrote this book for men. Shanna wrote sections for women.
Yep.
And what I will tell men is this is not a marriage book.
Yeah.
This is a how to not be stupid book. I mean,
Yes.
like this is a you're one choice away from stupid book. Like
Yes.
this is a book to say, you know what you're capable of. I know what I'm capable of. So let's know what we're capable of. Let's put that on the table. Let's acknowledge that truth like we did earlier.
Yep.
And let's do everything we can to avoid stupid so that our marriages can thrive. It's really a simple book. I'm not a marriage expert. I just am an expert on Shanna.
Yeah.
You're an expert on Lacey. But I have seen a lot of wreckage in 35 years of ministry and 60 years of being on this planet. Yeah. And I look at all the wreckage, I'm like, that was just stupid manifested. Yeah. That 100%. didn't have to happen. That was stupid. Yeah. And stupid is as stupid does. So I can say I could be the smartest guy on the planet right now, and tomorrow I can be an idiot. So I'm not calling a person stupid. I'm saying stupid is an action, and so we just want to prevent you from stupid. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
My publisher
100%.
hates that. I don't like that. I go, I don't care what you like. My
It's the
audience
truth.
goes, my audience guys, these guys can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be stupid. And the wives of these guys are like, yeah, don't be stupid. And they're like, okay, you're right, honey.
Yeah. It's the truth. We should never be afraid of the truth.
Yeah.
And as soon as we're afraid of the truth, we've already lost.
Guess what? Stupid is as stupid is, but guess what smart is?
Smart as smart is.
Yeah, and we're telling you have a date night. It's like we're serving it up. Have a debauch night. Debauch.
Yes.
Have a debauch, a date night. So I'm just serving it up for you. Go to McDonald's, go to Burger King, go to whatever your favorite little fast food places. Sit down, do some cheap meal. Go get Mexican food. Get a Diet Coke. Get a Coke. Get some water. Get out of there cheap. Tip them nice because you sat there at a table and didn't order anything. But go have a date night.
Yeah.
Go watch the sunset. Go watch the sunrise.
Yep.
I mean, it's not hard.
It's
not hard.
It is not.
Get in the car and go for a drive. I mean, it's so simple, but you have to connect emotionally with your wife.
Yes.
Or your marriage will pay the price.
100%. 100%.
So, man, I appreciate you coming on, buddy. This has been great. Great. And it kind of veered off the chapter, but really into another territory I hadn't considered, but really still the same thing. Stay emotionally connected to your bride. Yeah. So I appreciate that, man. Hey, guys,
important.
It's so important. Guys, make sure if you haven't done so, go pre-order a copy of the book. Go to Amazon. It's right there. Guardrails, 10 Boundaries for an Unbreakable Marriage by Jim Ramos with my bride, Shanna Ramos. Until next time, feel the wet sand on the arena floor. Hear the deafening roar of the crowd. Taste the sweetness of victory. Smell the stench of battle. Get in the game. Get dirty. Grind it out by staying connected to your bride. And be a man.